So, all you scared to death Negroes, just sit down. Don't you come out to defend our enemy. You sit down and you shut up and tell your master to come on out and deal with it.
So I have the honor to introduce our next panelist, and I will begin with a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We'll never be the people that God intends until we separate from our enemy. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan also said there will never be a normal. I would like to introduce Dr. Ridgely Abdul Muqaddim Muhammad. Was born in 1951 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He joined the Nation of Islam in 1971 while attending Columbia University in New York City. He received a Bachelor of Science in 1976 in Agricultural Economics from North Carolina A&T State University. From 1976 to 1980, he ran his own jewelry making and repair business. He went back to graduate school in 1980 and received a Master of Science degree in 1982 in Agricultural Economics from North Carolina A&T State University. He received a PhD in Agricultural Economics from Michigan State University with a minor in finance and a specialty in systems science in 1987. He taught agricultural economics and conducted research on small farm financial management at North Carolina A&T from 1986 to 1990. From 1990 to 1995, he designed, printed, and distributed T-shirts nationally featuring positive Black poems on the back. He has done extensive research on ancient African history, the pyramids of Egypt, and the history of agriculture. From 1995 until now, he has managed the Nation of Islam's 1,600-acre farm in Georgia and is the student minister of agriculture for the Nation of Islam. He is also vice president of the Original Black Farmers and Agriculturalists Association. He is also the vice president of the Staple Goods Project Co-op. He has written a number of articles in refereed journals, the Final Call newspaper, and a few books including number 1, Amen, The Secret Waters of the Great Pyramid. Number 2, I Will Not Apologize, The Resurrection of the Master Architect. Number 3, The Science and Business of Farming versus the Art and Hobby of Gardening. Number 4, Image of the Beast. Number 5, Cononomics, Developing a Post-Yaqub Economy. Cononomics 2, The Sheep, Sheepdog, and Evil Shepherd. He is also an appreciative member of the Nation of Islam Research Group, a team for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Please let's welcome our guest, Dr. Ridgely Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, alaikum salam, Dr. Ridgely.
First of all, I would like to thank Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, for giving me life through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and now through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet you again. Greetings, peace, wa assalamu alaikum. And I'd like to say that I thank the three of those for giving me life. Otherwise, I just would have been a smart Negro working for the devil, destroying myself. So whatever I do in appreciation for them giving me a knowledge of myself and a purpose. So I got into agriculture because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we need both agriculture and farmers and engineers. I went into engineering first, architectural engineering, because I was always good at math. I was also good with drawing. So I thought maybe I'll be an engineer, architectural engineer. However, the problem was at that time they did not have these CAD systems. So I would have to be an apprentice for an architect for 5 years, working in a room drawing lines all day. That was not me. So instead, I said, well, okay, the other thing he said was agriculture. So, and I had started economics at Michigan State. I mean, not at Michigan State, at Columbia University. I went to economics at Columbia University because I knew it's always, we say what, follow the money trail. I knew at an early age that it's all about money. The white man runs his world based on money. So if you want to understand why things are happening, figure out who is going to make money behind it, and that's why things are happening that way. But so I combine agriculture and economics into agriculture economics, and I had in fact planned to work at this farm right now that I'm on in 1976 when I graduated from North Carolina A&T. But however, by the time I graduated, they had sold off all the equipment, they had leased the land out to somebody else, and there was no job for me. And I had to figure out something else to do with my life, okay? So that's where jewelry making came in. Now I'm giving you these steps because I want people to understand that life is about making adjustments. But you got to have an underlying purpose. Now, the underlying purpose is to build a nation. That's been my underlying purpose ever since I joined the Nation of Islam, was to build a nation. And when Muqaddim took over and they stopped, we don't have to build no black nation no more. We're just going to go to heaven after we die and have 70 virgins. I said, man, get out of here. I'm going back to the street. All right? And I stayed in the street and got more education in agriculture until the Minister Farrakhan finally got to me, and I joined in '93 back up with Minister Farrakhan. Everybody calls me Dr. originally. Well, the reason for that is that when I was a teacher at North Carolina A&T, they called me Dr. Muqaddim. Okay, my name is Rizal Abdul Muqaddim. But because I joined back in the nation, you have to take an X. So, you know, it was kind of strange for me to have originally X Abdul Muqaddim. Now, Abdul Muqaddim is the name I chose for myself. But Mr. Farrakhan has given it back to me twice. So I'm officially Abdul Muqaddim, okay? But Muqaddim is the believer. One of the attributes says the believer or protector of the believer, a defender of the believer. And I'm the slave servant of that attribute. So whatever I do is trying to help the believer, not only just to eat, but to understand eating and the process of agriculture and the game that is being played on us when it comes to food. Many people think that the black farmers are out of business because they're dumb. Well, they're dumb to one thing, that the white man was the devil and that the government of the United States was and is their and your enemy if you want to be a farmer. Now, the white farmers are finding this out now after they have used them to give them money to buy the black farmers out and wipe the black farmers out. Now they're wiping out the white farmers because they got something new for the world. It's called fake meat. They're going to grow food from a petri dish. No ears, no teeth, no legs, just meat from a petri dish. Grow it into a steak for you. Here, take this. Now pray over that. Praying over that ain't gonna make that a part of God's creation. You gotta understand who you're dealing with here. You're dealing with Satan. You're dealing with someone who hates his body. He hates the fact that he's weak. He hates the fact that he has a limited time on the planet. He knows that his 6,000 years is up, and his intent is to destroy the ability for life to exist on this planet and it to be replaced with robots with his brain inside the robot, him putting his algorithm of his thoughts and spirit in the robots who will live on the planet after the flesh is gone. So you got to understand what you're dealing with here. Now, brother Joshua said something very important in his presentation when he talked about the need for us to get education. He included college and he also included trade. When I was going to college, I picked up a trade, jewelry making. Why? Because I did not want to, they took me off my scholarship. They said, you know, you took too long to get your degree, so I'm going to take you off of that. Now you got to get a loan. I'm going to get a loan? my last 3 months, you tell me I gotta get a loan, so I'd be in debt when I come out of college. So what did I do? I started selling jewelry, and then when I finished college, I went to the what they call it, the trade school, and learned how to repair and make jewelry. So I was given a full scholarship to Ohio State. I didn't apply for it. They called me up and said, "You want to go to Ohio State for a PhD?" I said, "Wait a minute. I'm in agriculture economics. I want to understand business." All right. And I'll tell you another thing what happened when I was going to school about business. I was taking an accounting class, and part, agriculture economics. I got a little joke. If I want to get rid of women, I just say I'm an agriculture economist. They hear the agriculture part, they're just farming. They hear the economics part, they don't. So anyway, so I was taking this accounting, and the teacher, every now and then he would say stuff to get us to be work hard. He said, "Listen, if you study real hard and get a good degree and you're good in business administration, you can get a job and making $30,000 to $40,000 a year." Well, in 1974, $30,000 to $40,000 a year was some money. But he kept doing that. So one day I said, respectfully, sir, could you teach me what that man knows that can pay me $30,000 to $40,000 a year?
I heard that.
I said, now, if you can't teach me what he knows, well, let's teach me what you know. Because I did not come here to get a job for them. I came here to make jobs for my people.
Go ahead.
Now, what that person did, later on I found out that he actually set up a business in the mall for his wife to run. I'm not saying that I've made him get into business, but I just brought it out to him. You teaching me business, but you ain't got no damn business. You just teaching me business. But he actually went into business. So that's one of my faults. He never admitted, but that's what he did. So anyway, but a trade is important. Something you can do with your hands. And see, this is what the enemy has done. Let me read for you one of his game plans that he used to destroy the black farmer and agriculture in the black community. And he's done that same thing on all the trades. This is what he did in 1962. They had a meeting with a bunch of all the power brokers, heads of universities, Congress people, heads of big corporations, and they sit down in think tanks. This is how laws are made in think tanks. They're not made the way you think laws are made. Laws are made with think tanks, and then they pass it off to the congressperson to sign off on. It said this is called an adaptive approach for Committee for Economic Development in 1962. Quote, net migration out of agriculture has been going on for 40 years and at a rapid rate. Nevertheless, the movement of people from agriculture has not been fast enough. Let me stop right there. We're talking about 1962. It said 40 years. So going back to 40 years of 1912. The 1910 census shows that black people have owned 16 million acres of land in 1910. In 1900, they owned 10 million acres of land. But 1910, they're up to 16 million acres of land. So they started lynching us and burning us and shooting us and running us out the south into the north to get jobs so they can take our land. But so it says the net migration out of agriculture has been going on for 40 years at a rapid rate. Nevertheless, the movement of people from agriculture has not been fast enough. This adaptive approach recommended that, one, vocational agriculture courses in rural areas be scrapped. So they eliminated vocational agriculture in high school. That was the track for the young people who want to go back into farming when they got out, go into that to learn vocation about agriculture. No, they got rid of that. Number two, farm children, and this is the most wicked thing I've ever read. Farm children be given college scholarships to study anything but agriculture. Now, you just don't understand how wicked that is. In the old system of things in Africa and all over the world, and in the Jewish world, everybody's world, you train your children to take over the business. You train your children into to your business so that when you leave, you pass it on to them. Here, what they're doing is training the farmers' children into anything other than agriculture, so when they get their degree, they won't come back. Okay, this is planned destruction. The black farmers didn't know that. And then the black farmers were tricked into depending on the system instead of depending on themselves. They said, listen, get rid of your small little operations. You want to go agribusiness. You want to be able to get the big tractors like the whiteboard. You want to do straight soybeans, straight corns. You want to do hundreds of acres at a time. And we're going to loan you money so you can do that, but you're going to have to give up all your little small operations, your little chicken production, your little hog production, your little cow production. Because see, those little small operations are what the farmers use to have operating capital. Okay? So they would, when they needed some money, they take a pig to the auction and sell it, or they take some eggs and they sell it. That'd be the operating money, so they can put money into the ground, because it takes 6 months from the time you start plowing to when you get a crop out. Your family got to eat. You got to pay your help. You got to have chemicals. You got to have fuel. All these things you got to have for 6 months until the crop comes in. But the USDA said, listen, get rid of all the small things, because we're not going to loan you money until you can get an agribusiness unless you get rid of those small things. So they got rid of those small things, and so they depended on the government. And then what did the government do? When they first started the operations, like the whiteboard, they would get their money in February or March. But then they can't stop taking the money slower, so they get it in May and June instead of February and March. Plus, they have what they call supervised loans. The whiteboard, they give him a checkbook, put the money in the bank, he write a check, and then at the end of the year, when he sells his crop, he pays the money back to the government. But the black farmer, they deal with what they call supervised loans. Meaning what? The checkbook was kept at the USDA department. That they managed the farm's money. So when he needed something, he had to go to them to get it. He had to go and get an invoice from where he wanted it from. Let's say he wanted to repair his tractor. He needed a tire for his tractor. He had to go to the company where he would get the tire from and get an invoice for them, and then go find his USDA representative to write the check that he got to pay back. Because once that check is written and he buys that tire, it's the farmer that's got to pay that money back. And that's how they got the farmers in trouble. They were able to take their land, and we went to court to try to stop the USDA from foreclosing on 3,000 farmers. And all you heard was that $50,000. We didn't go there for no damn $50,000.
So Dr.
We went there to protect those farmers.
So Dr. Ridgely, I'm gonna steer it a little bit differently for you, because I really want to capitalize on the things that you shared with the group when we were speaking privately.
Yes.
And that is, of course, the message to the students as it relates to agriculture, and what way should they be looking at towards that mission, and how it would serve the Nation of Islam moving forward.
Okay. There's only one school in America that teaches farming. A&T, Tuskegee, none of it. They don't teach farming. They teach you things where you can get a job in the agricultural industry, like with the government or with Monsanto or whatever. They don't teach you farming. So what I'm suggesting to people who want to seriously get into agriculture, you're going to have to find a farm where you can do some volunteer work while you're in college, because you're not going to learn no farming while you're in college. As a matter of fact, they used to have farms on the college, but those just experimental farms. Now they don't produce products like an A&T. They used to have a dairy to produce ice cream for the school, but now none of that is there no more. They just training you to go to work for somebody else. So you need to get some experience working at a farm. Now,
so what is the vision for? So what would be the vision for the students?
Number two. We are pushing at Muhammad Farms for every farmer to get in what's called value-added production. We don't grow wheat anymore. We grow flour. We grow cream of wheat. We grow muffin mix. In other words, you grow a raw product, but then you make it into a valuable product, and you sell it directly to the consumer. You don't go through the middleman. So we're telling young people, if you're serious about farming and going into agriculture, One of y'all needs to study production agriculture, and the other one needs to study how to cook. Culinary school. Why? That's for instance. Why don't you learn how to produce the best peach pie in the world? You buy peaches from another farmer or from the market, and you experiment until you make your best peach pie. Then you grow you some peach trees. You get you some land and you grow some peach trees, but it's gonna take 7 years for those peach trees to be ready to produce peaches. So you still buy from the other farmers your peaches, but you're selling peach pies and you're making money while you were in college with the peach pies, and now you're establishing a brand name for yourself. Now, when you come out of college, you continue to produce your peach pies, buying from other farmers until your peaches come in. Then you put your peaches in your peach pie. So now you own it from the land all the way to the man because you already got a market for your product. See, we learned this from the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. The Jews did not come over here to grow cotton to try to find some place to sell the cotton. No, they already had control of the cotton industry. They had control of the fiber industry. They had control of the clothing industry, the textile industry in Europe. They was getting cotton from Egypt and India. They wanted to cut them out and get it cheaper. So they came and took the Native Americans' land, killed them all, poisoned them, made us slaves so they could get it for free. And then they fed it into their system they already had established. So that's what we set the Stable Goods Project, because we realized we was going at this farming thing backwards. You don't produce a raw product and try to find somebody to buy the product. No, what you do is you develop a product and you get a market for your product where you get the final, instead of $4 a bushel, you get $24 a bushel for flour versus $4 for wheat. Then that's how you make money.
All praise is due to Allah. And, I pray that the students are hearing what Dr. Ridgely is sharing with us, because the basis of what he's teaching is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings on doing for self. And something that he did not share, that he shared with us last night, was the system of community that we once had, where we bartered our fruit. We bartered what we had. We have to get back to that place, because as he said, if my chicken don't have wings, I'm going to be a little afraid of what it is I'm putting in my mouth. And so what we have to do, as Dr. Ridgely is saying, is now look at what we will be growing for ourselves, our nation, as we look at the demand for separation, the land that we need to have, the quality of products that we need to begin to produce. So I thank Allah, Dr. Ridgely, for your presentation. I know that he is full. Dr. Ridgely has been on this Mustaqim for a very long time, and so when he presents this information, he's presenting so much knowledge of the time and what must be done. And so we want to bring him back again to really break down some of the things that he has shared with us, even in a private conversation that we had with him. So I thank you, Dr. Ridgely.